It's like 6 o'clock at night. I hate it because the sun is going down so early in Dubai that it's depressing. So I'm drinking a matcha because I love matcha with oat milk and a little bit of sweetener. Hi ladies, so today I'm going to be doing a video on 12 perfumes that have men in an absolute state of mind. Chokehold, if you will, but don't take that phrase too seriously. I have a bunch of fragrances here, some designer, some niche, that in my experience have just really worked a trick with the opposite sex. So let's get straight into this video. So I'm gonna start out with one that is actually quite a surprise to me. It is Musk Therapy from Initio Parfums. Now, why it's a shock to me is because this fragrance for me does not scream sexy by any stretch of the imagination. For me, this is a beautiful, casual, soft, creamy, musky, slightly fruity sandalwood scent. Like, it has this really slight fruity tonality. I think there's some like blackcurrant or something like that in the top, but it has this really like smooth, creamy, musky vibe going on overall. It is really fantastic, but I would never consider this to be like super sexy until I started receiving so many compliments from men whenever I've been wearing this fragrance. So obviously my partner, his friends would compliment me when I would like greet them at the door and give them a hug. They would be like, whoa, like you smell amazing tonight. What is that? And it's Musk Therapy. Men love this scent. Personally, I find this to be like the perfect signature scent, a really nice casual fragrance that doesn't really smell out of place with whatever you're doing. You could be going to the grocery store, you could be going on a date, you could be going to the office. For me, Musk Therapy is a very nice kind of overall signature fragrance. If you wanted something quite musky, a little bit fresh and sort of sweet fruity at the same time, try Musk Therapy from Initio. It is fantastic, and yes, it has men in an absolute chokehold. Next up, we have Duchessa from Gritti. I have been seeing this fragrance getting a lot of love online, a lot of attention on TikTok. I have been seeing a lot of people getting onto this one, which I'm happy because for me, one of the best like cherry dominated scents on the market because of its longevity and projection. What you're gonna get in here is a very like cherry almondy scent with a beautiful saffron note in there as well. It is just very addictive, very sexy, very, oh guys, whenever I smell this, even I have myself in a chokehold. Like, it's just addictive and very, very, very intoxicating. I took this fragrance with me to the Maldives when I went earlier in the year, and I was getting compliments left, right, and center from the staff inside of the restaurant, from Pierre, from everyone. For some reason, especially when it's like a summerish night, like the night is warm, it's a little humid. When you spray on this fragrance, wow, the compliments are insane. It has beautiful longevity and projection on my skin personally. It lasts like 8 to 10 hours with huge projection. It is just fantastic. A sweet cherry almondy scent with a lot more depth going on underneath. I feel like cherry is so trendy right now. Cherry is in every single fragrance right now. And there is only few fragrances, like very, very few, and few brands that I think have done it right. Gritti, for me, they did it right with Duchessa. It is fantastic. So definitely has men in a chokehold. This one is extremely sexy, so wear it with caution. Speaking of the Maldives, another one that I took with me and another one that I was getting compliments on is L'Interdit Rouge by Givenchy. Now, I also really love the Parfum version, which is in the black bottle, so I recommend both completely. This fragrance, you guys, I hate that I made a video with my partner and when he smelled it, he was like, meh, it's okay. Because honestly, guys, whenever I wore this fragrance around him, he couldn't stop telling me how good that I smelled. I actually had this fragrance on my wish list from the second that I first smelled it. Like, I think it was maybe last year when I smelled it for the first time, and I had it on my wish list up until earlier this year when I finally purchased it. Well, that's a lie, actually. Pierre, he bought it for me. Thank you, Pierre. It is just incredible, you guys. A very sweet, sexy, white floral scent. I think it's tuberose is like the dominant floral note in here. but it's not done in a very classical way, it's done in a modern way, very sexy, like a bit bubblegummy tuberose, some pear, some vanilla. It's just super sexy and super addictive. If you wanted something like that, please guys, go and get it. I think I talked about this story, but the first time that I was introduced to like the L'Interdit line was when my friend was wearing it. She wasn't my friend when I first smelled it on her, she was a stranger to me, and I met her for the first time because she was dating one of Pierre's friends, and she goes in to hug me and say like, hey, nice to meet you, and I never forgot the way that she smelled. She just smelled freaking incredible, like way better than me that night. Like I was just fixated on the way that this girl smelled, and she was the one that introduced me to like the L'Interdit line and told me how good it was. It was just amazing. So anyways, I went on a massive tangent. L'Interdit Rouge definitely has men in an absolute state of mind, and get it if that interests you. A sweet, like bubblegummy, floral scent. It is fantastic. And it's matching my nails today. So next up is BDK Ce Soir. I used to talk about this fragrance a lot. The only reason that I haven't been mentioning it recently is because I haven't really been wearing it recently. As you guys know, I have such a big collection, which I'm super grateful and lucky to have, but I like to test out new fragrances. I fall in love with new fragrances all the time. And Ce Soir, obviously I've known about this fragrance for over like 2 years now, so I haven't really been reaching for it as much. But let me tell you, this is top 3 of my partner's favorite fragrances on me. Ce Soir for him is like one of the sexiest scents ever created. I don't know why. He just has like this obsession with Ce Soir. Like it's almost weird. Like he loves this fragrance. He tells me, I don't know, like it's crazy. His obsession with this scent is just crazy. But I also totally love it. For me, it's like a very sweet, almost like caramelized, sweet floral scent with a little bit of spice. It's a very hard fragrance to describe. Like I feel like the notes are very well blended in the fragrance. It's very sweet, like kind of almost like a caramelized sweetness for me. It has a little bit of like some light white florals in the mid, and then it has a bit of a spice in there as well. It is just fantastic. It's very, very sexy, very addictive, and I absolutely love the fragrance. So BDK Ce Soir, it has men, more specifically Pierre, so don't wear this around my boyfriend, please, if you ever meet him. It has him in a total chokehold. Like this is one of his favorite fragrances in the world on a woman. Next up is Erba Pura from Xerjoff. Now, as you guys know, and as I mention in almost every single video whenever I mention Ce Soir, it is like really not my favorite from Xerjoff. Like I recently just started becoming totally head over heels obsessed with Starlight, and I love so many others from the brand. Erba Pura like falls like as my lowest rated, but this fragrance, you guys, I wear it because I want to get complimented. Like I'm not even gonna joke about it. I wear this fragrance because I know people love it, and I know it's gonna get complimented. I know I'm gonna get noticed when I wear this one. That's why I wear it. I literally do not wear this fragrance for myself because, like I said, it's not really a favorite of mine at all. People go crazy for it. Men are addicted to the scent of Erba Pura. How does it smell? If you're wondering, it's like a very strong, musky, fruity scent with what I feel like is a very like dry ambroxan base. It's very powerful, very, 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 very powerful, let me say that, and it projects a lot. What you're gonna get in the air is like this kind of sexy, like fruity, musky vibe. The trail of the scent is beautiful, but like I said again, personally it's not a favorite of mine, but trust me you guys, if you wear this around a guy, they're gonna lose control because it's just what happens with Erba Pura. I don't know why, but something about this scent is super addictive to men. So Erba Pura from Xerjoff, it's fantastic. You could also go for La Capitale. La Capitale as well, definitely a chokehold fragrance, but if I have to be honest and put my personal feelings aside, Erba Pura is the one that guys like the most. Next up we have Kilian Angel Share. For me, this was a slow burn. I absolutely detested the fragrance when is that a word? Yeah, I think it is. I detested this fragrance when I first tried it like several years ago, I think like 2 years ago maybe. I really didn't like it. I found it sickly sweet. I found it to be like already done, you know what I mean? Like I felt like this DNA was like not really very unique, and I felt like it was sickly sweet. But when I look back, I think I was just judging it way too hard. And the fragrance is actually fantastic and I absolutely love it. Kilian's Angel Share is very, very, very sweet. Let me say that again. It is the sweetest fragrance, you guys, in the entire world. Like for me, you really have to be into very sweet fragrances to even consider picking up and wearing this scent, because it is totally, totally sweet. So for me, what I get is a very syrupy, caramelized sweetness. There is a nice boozy note. I think there's like some cinnamon, a bit of spice, but really guys, what you're gonna get is like a very, very sweet, like caramelized sort of sweetness with a booziness. And I don't know, I almost get like a slightly dried fruity smell as well. No idea what the notes are. I think there's like cinnamon, a boozy note, I'm not sure, but for me that's what I get. A very syrupy sweetness, a little bit of like this dried fruity smell, and a bit of a booziness as well. It is absolutely amazing, and why it's in this video, men go crazy for Angel Share. They absolutely love this one. No explanation needed here. We have Delina. I know Delina is so overdone now and so many people know about it. I don't even have to introduce the fragrance to you, but Delina definitely appeals to men in a way that like I've never seen before. I used to wear this fragrance when it was not so popular online. Obviously, it's like a hugely successful scent. I think it's like the top 3 best-selling niche fragrances for women in the world, maybe like top 2 alongside Baccarat. I think it's Delina. So it's really, really popular, it's really famous, but I was wearing it 4 years ago now when I was living in Australia. I think I just ripped it off. I remember when I was in Australia like 4 years ago, and I was going on like some dates because I was really trying to put myself out there at some point. And I would like go and meet up with a guy and like have a little drink or a little dinner or something. My go-to fragrance when I was going on dates was Delina. Like I would put on the body cream, I would mix the exclusive with the original, I would put it in my hair. I was doing the whole lot. And let me tell you guys, I got so many freaking compliments from the guys, and I feel like guys, it's really hard to get a compliment from them. And literally every single guy that I went on a date with, I say every single, there was like 3, but whatever, no judgment. Every single guy said I smelled fantastic. I have received endless compliments with Delina, especially from men. It just appeals to them in some way. For me, this smells like a wife. To me, this really smells like this perfect, pretty, very utterly feminine wife. And this is what she smells like. A very plush, very put together feminine floral scent. It has a nice muskiness. I love the musky dry down of Delina, which I feel like people don't really talk about as much, but it definitely does have this very clean musky dry down. In the top, you're gonna get a little bit of like lychee for a bit of sweetness and some rhubarb to bring a bit of a tartness. And then you have this very like velvety florals going on, and it's just stunning. It really, really is. It deserves all of its success, because for me, whenever I smell other fragrances, Delina, it's really unique and it's just stunning. It lasts a long time, projects a lot, and yes, of course, it puts men in a chokehold. So Delina. Next up, we have Carolina Herrera Good Girl. Now, I think that this is the Good Girl Légère, but I'm just talking about the original Good Girl, or any flanker, to be honest. Like, even this one is beautiful. Good Girl, you guys, I was wearing this fragrance. I always talk about this same experience, but it feels like so long ago now. When I was 18 and I started going out clubbing for the first time, my go-tos were La Nuit Trésor and Carolina Herrera Good Girl. Those were like my 2 go-to night out scents. Like, I knew what I was doing by wearing those 2 fragrances. Not at the same time, guys, not at the same time, I mean separately. But each time I would wear either La Nuit Trésor or Good Girl, I knew that I was gonna get complimented. I knew people would think that I smelled good. I knew. So Good Girl, I got endless compliments from all the drunk guys in the club. You smell so good. Whoa, you smell amazing. Everything. I really feel like the name should not be Good Girl, it should be Bad Girl, because it really smells very sexy. As you guys know, it's like a white floral mixed with some cacao. It's very smooth, very it's very smooth. I even forgot the notes in here. I think there's some cacao, I think there's some jasmine, white florals, etc. But it's just amazing. Like the fragrance really is amazing. And I mentioned in another video that I feel like whenever I smell designer fragrance releases, I am proud of Carolina Herrera because I feel like they actually created something really unique that is not so easy to replicate. Like I feel like what they did with Good Girl was quite a revolutionary floral because it doesn't smell typically floral and typically feminine. It actually has a slight kind of masculine vibe to it almost. So fantastic scent, very, very sexy, very addictive, leaves a beautiful sensillage. Even though myself, I never wear Good Girl and it's not something that I think I will wear anytime soon, I can still respect it and it helped me out back in the day. Next up we have Sospiro Vibrato. I'm gonna quickly breeze through this one because you guys know I have not shut up about this fragrance since the second that I got it. And this is another one that I'm shocked about because it's very, very fresh and I really didn't expect guys to like fresh fragrances on women, but apparently they do. Vibrato, guys, is not only one of my most complimented perfumes in general in my whole entire collection, but it's actually one of my most complimented from specifically men. I cannot tell you guys how many compliments I've had with Vibrato. At my hairdresser, at the mall, when I was buying a little polo from Ralph Lauren, when I got into my Uber, which Uber drivers in Dubai, if you don't know, they don't speak. It's not like in the UK or in Australia or in the US. Our Uber drivers here, which is a little bit sad, they just drive you and that's it. For my Uber driver to literally turn around, look at me and ask me what is my perfume, can you please write it down, is crazy. The compliments on this one, guys, they're just insane, especially from men. Vibrato, if you don't know, is a beautiful, the best fresh fragrance in the entire world. It's fresh, it's a little bit herbaceous, a bit green. It has a nice musky woody dry down. There's a bit of florals in the mid. For me, this is like the perfect unisex slash a little bit more feminine fresh fragrance in the entire world. There is nothing bad that I can say about this scent. Like there is nothing bad at all. It's long lasting, it's fresh, in brackets, best fresh fragrance ever. It's just fantastic, a huge compliment getter, and men love this fragrance. So guys, if you have not already, check out Vibrato from Sospiro. It is just fantastic. The next fragrance on the list is Poison Girl Eau de Toilette from Christian Dior. Now I was wearing, this is another one that I was wearing a lot when I was in Australia, and again, don't need to keep on saying it, the compliments on this one were insane. And this is actually still a designer fragrance to this day that I sometimes wear, and it's like a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me because I feel as though I have grown out of fragrances like this, not in a bad way and not in a way that I think that I'm above fragrances like Poison Girl at all by any means. Fragrance is fragrance to me and I just want to smell good. I don't care the price tag, the brand, the name, nothing. But I do feel like this DNA of like this very sweet, like girly scent is not as much what I'm into these days, but I still wear Poison Girl and I absolutely love whenever I wear it. Oh, it's just so good. It's got a little bit of orange in the top, so there is kind of like a spark of some citrus, and then it has, I think, an almond note, some vanilla, some caramel. It's very sweet, very addictive, a little bit powdery almost, and it's just, it's so good, you guys. Poison Girl is so good. I used to get a lot of compliments from guys in Australia whenever I would wear Poison Girl. Even to this day, Poison Girl, it always gets compliments, especially from men. It's just something about this very sweet, candied, like girly DNA that men love, and Poison Girl, it's definitely one that keeps men in a chokehold. Okay, the next fragrance that has men in a chokehold is God of Fire from Stephane Berluca. Now, I am a big fan of this brand. Isran Mirage, A Wish Come True, Venom Incarnate, Lady White Snake. I am obsessed with like the whole entire brand, if I'm being completely honest, but I think that the one that gets the most compliments, and I had to put in the list, is God of Fire. I wore this all summer long. Oh my god, even when I smell it, it reminds me of summer. It's so good, you guys. It has some lemon, some ginger, some raspberry or like red fruits in the top, and then it has a beautiful creamy sexy mango note. I love the contrast of this kind of like almost like sour, like a bit yeah, a bit sour kind of punchiness from like this lemon, this ginger, mixed with like the fruitiness, the creamy mango notes. I absolutely think it is genius. Usually mango in fragrances, it smells very like almost lactonic and creamy. In here, it's more like there is that beautiful contrast of the notes, and I just am obsessed with it. So it is fantastic. It has like a nice ambery dry down, very addictive, very powerful as well. I actually gifted this fragrance to Pierre's cousin, and when she was walking in front of me, she was like really far in front of me, I was just getting huge whiffs of God of Fire. And guys, the trail is absolutely incredible on this scent. It is really addictive, powerful, and very, very sexy. Men are obsessed with God of Fire. Women are obsessed with God of Fire. It is just overall a big compliment getter, a big mass appealing hit from the brand, and I love it so much. And finally, we have 100 Silent Ways from Nishane. I've worn this one quite a lot. Actually, I just realized I put in the 3 fragrances that I took with me to the Maldives earlier in the year. I took this fragrance, Duchessa, and Lente de Rouge. So I didn't do that on purpose, actually, but it just turned out that way. 100 Silent Ways from Nishane. Although it's not my favorite from the brand, as you guys know, I love Nefs, FAVES, and several others. 100 Silent Ways is a very sexy, appealing scent to men. This is like the fragrance that I wear when I want to appeal to guys. Nefs is more for myself, even though it's very sexy. And same with FAVES. FAVES especially, that's more from me. Like smelling like rose, oud, very dry. That's for me. When I want to smell for somebody else, I wear 100 Silent Ways, because for me this is very sexy, typically what guys love on women. Sweet, vanilla, I think there's some peach in here. Personally, I don't pick up any peach. I pick up vanilla, I pick up a creamy, sweet floral note. I think there's some gardenia, some tuberose. I would say that this is predominantly a vanilla scent. Rather than being a white floral, this is a vanilla fragrance. There's vanilla, sandalwood, tuberose, gardenia. I feel like the florals, they're more like supporting the fragrance and bringing a little more character, but it's mostly a vanilla scent, and it is very, very sexy, very high quality, and very long lasting. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it was a long one, but these, just not off the top of my head, but if I could choose and recommend you guys a few fragrances in my collection that really like have men in a chokehold, as we say in this video, these are the fragrances here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.